Or maybe it wasn't out. It's not being my friend. Anyway, on November 15th, I warned that Indonesia and surrounding areas would experience a huge shift of the earth plates and an earthquake. Sadly, as you probably heard by now, I report that more than 100 people were killed over the weekend when the huge earthquake did hit Indonesia. Prayers to all those people in Indonesia who have suffered loss or injuries. Who's going to be next? Where is the next big earthquake going to hit? If you remember years back, or not years back, within the past year, I said that there was a big, huge, record-breaking earthquake coming. Was the one in Indonesia the one? Or is there something more to come? We're going to talk about that today, as I had visions of vehicles that were stranded on a highway in snow and ice. This is what just happened to drivers in northern New York. This is just the beginning, according to Spirit, with so much that is heading our way this season, this winter season, and summer season for those in the southern hemisphere. Could you be the one stranded next on the roads? Tune in to find out. Apocalyptic snowstorm hit North America, as you know by now, in New York, especially outside of Buffalo, New York. And again, winter has not even begun yet. We're not even in winter. So what's ahead in the way of big storms and weather? I told you that Nancy Pelosi would be out this year at some point, and both Pelosi and FAUCI are finally ending our year with something that we can actually celebrate. But let us together hold in the light that their replacements have our best interests in their heart and in their mind. Or otherwise, it could end up just being another paid off, corrupt government official that takes over their spot. Also, I just predicted, as predicted, not just predicted, years ago actually, Trump announces his run for the White House. Is he going to win this time? Is he going to come back with a rebound? Much about that today, as Russia takes a drone hit to one of its ports along the coast, but they're not reporting it. Wonder why? Why not? I warned of coming drone attacks, some on innocent victims. So where are the next drones going to strike? We talked in the past about new discoveries, including many new underground discoveries in Egypt. A tunnel was just discovered in Egypt beneath the Temple of Osiris. What other discoveries are ahead? Folks, it's all about to get real. Thank you, Mr. Skylight, for your chat cash. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 42 of Tuesday's Tittle Tea Time Predictions Update. I welcome you all to my channel, back to my channel. Don't forget to give that subscribe a hit, the bell and all, and give me a like somewhere along the line, because I love each and every one of you. And this is our predictions update for 11/22/22. November 11th, 2022. What is it, 59? I think it's 59 years since JFK was assassinated. Sad things. The last time there was actually an election that actually was real. But anyway, moving right along. If I end up having a connection that's jumpy, hopefully I won't. But if I do, I'm recording this and I will upload a better version later if need be. But let's all keep our fingers crossed and hold in the light that the connection stays fabulous. So it appears as if the world has gone madder than hell just about now. People's negative emotions seem to appear to be shining ever so brightly as humanity faces so many obstacles and so many struggles. Unfortunately, since that blood full moon that we had a few weeks ago, people have become more angry, more frustrated, and facing even more struggles than before. Thank you, Juan, for your chat cash. This has caused people to go mad, like the very sad shooting that just took place at the gay nightclub in Colorado. And violence is on an all-time high, and it's still rising each and every day. We must always hold hope, knowing in our hearts that humanity is going through a birthing cycle. And giving birth, as many ladies know, is accompanied with lots of pain, lots of discomfort. But in time, it's going to bring a beautiful new earth and a new earth nation. It's going to be a long battle, and at times it's going to seem as if it's never going to come to an end. But instead, It may appear that it's just getting worse day by day instead of getting better. As humanity goes through these birthing cycles, so does our dear Mother Earth, hence the uptick of earthquakes and weather events over the past decade, with so many more yet to come and weather events to come. Actually, we have been pretty fortunate, if you think about it, so far when it comes to Mother Earth and the wrath of her destruction that comes through weather. It could be a lot worse. We can always focus that on mind. And her shifting plates and severe weather patterns are just going to continue. Every day, we just need to count our blessings. Speaking of counting on our blessings, here in the United States, Americans will be celebrating the holiday referred to as Thanksgiving, while at the same time forgetting, mainly because they were never actually taught, or we were never actually taught, about the genocide that occurred, killing millions of natives in North America and globally. I doubt you'll find any of those families celebrating the American holiday of Thanksgiving this coming Thursday. But instead, maybe they will be in grief, reflecting and mourning on the pains of their ancestors and what their ancestors have endured. So if anything, hold those folks in your prayers for the Thanksgiving and those that are less unfortunate. They call the United States a free country, even though over many generations, they continue to seem to enslave the natives as they did, while working really hard presently to enslave all of humanity with their rhetoric. They're doing a pretty good job on it lately this past 2 years. The new moon is upon us in less than 24 hours. And finally, we exit this waning moon cycle that has heightened our emotions, brought up our past, and of course, heightened our struggles as well. The new moon is a great opportunity for us to manifest our dreams and desires, a time to focus on how blessed that we actually are, and not to do so, but to do so each and every day. Every single day should be celebrated with gratitude for the many blessings in our lives, blessings that we tend to forget about. Of course, with the help of the mass media that's constantly pushing fear down our throats, helping us to forget about the many blessings that we endure every day. But I do remind you all today that the more we focus on those blessings each and every day, the more miracles and blessings that will come your way. Thank you, Nadine, for your chat cash love and support. Spirit shows me that the earth is still a bit unstable with her shifting plates and the seasonal changes that are occurring, both here in the northern hemisphere and there in the southern hemisphere. Therefore, I would expect more heavy activity to occur in the realm of volcanic activity and earthquakes. Let us not forget about the weather patterns as well. For Spirit showed me today that there is so much more to come before 2022 even comes to a close. A lot more to come. We are in a great awakening, and we now see this with the protests against NATO and the EU happening right now in Paris. They're not showing you that in mass media. Protests in Iran, which we do know about that because they want nothing more than to poke the cub next to the bear. And then we also have protests happening in Haiti against United States and Canada. I bet you a lot of people aren't aware of that. So welcome back to my channel again. Welcome to my channel if you're just tuning in. I thank you all for being here. I'm here live every Tuesday at approximately 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. My name is Joseph Tittel, aka Spearman JT, if you haven't gathered already, and I welcome you and thank you for hitting that subscribe button and that like button, and for all the love and support that you provide for me, because I couldn't do this without you, and I love doing this for you. So, down below, you'll find the links to all my social media, including the Awaken Your Spirit community and my friends that are currently hanging out on Zoom. It's like our little family that we have going on there. You can be in our family. I thank all the supporters who join the community down below, besides being a part of the tribe and hitting subscribe. But down below, you'll find a link to my latest newsletter as well. You're going to want to check out the newsletter. I believe that's the latest one. I'll double check that link afterwards. But sign up to that newsletter so you know what's going on. And the holidays are here. Special offers, upcoming classes for January, and my annual New Year's Day World Predictions. I think we're working on the 16th annual, I think, coming up. More on that. Join the community on Subscribestar. you could be a part of the Zoom event on New Year's Day. So with that in tune, a couple other things before we start. Down below, you also find some of the merchandise, some of the shirts, like Be Kind to Others as You Wish Others Be Kind to You, our Mean People Suck shirts, and many other different things down below, which help support the channel. Tomorrow, I have a video premiering that I recorded and uploaded. That'll premiere around 5:30, I believe, tomorrow. And it's an important video showing you exactly how to clear negative energies and the very many misconceptions in doing so, and the proper way of doing so, along with how to program crystals, amulets, and talismans. So check that video out tomorrow. And then also I'm working on another video that I've been working on all day yesterday, actually. I don't know when I'll have it up. The goal is to have it done by Monday, maybe before that, but Monday is more logical for me because it's an in-depth video about end times and about the date in the year 2029 and how I believe that aligns perfectly with many different prophecies, that of the Hopi, the Lakota, Book of Revelation, Nostradamus, all of them. So keep an eye out for that. Hit subscribe. So Friday, November 25th happens to be Native Heritage Day. So let us honor those natives, not just on Friday, but on Thursday too. Natives who walked these lands way prior than we walked these lands. So they're telling us statistically that Thanksgiving dinner is up 20% this year. I don't know where they get their statistics from, but 20%, only 20%. I kind of beg to differ with that. I don't know where they're shopping for their food, but it's a bit unrealistic. I saw an organic turkey. I didn't, my friend did back east, at a store that was $130. And I warned y'all, if you remember, to get your turkeys early. And by this time next year, prices will increase another 35 to 40% if you're able to even find them at all. You know, and as we know, some predictions I make take sometimes 2 years to come true. That would all fall into place by next year, for sure. So be aware of that. 2 years ago would have been a bit easier for us to stock up and do things like that, but there's still time. There's still time to be aware. But it's really becoming a real big struggle for people, as we know. And people are trying hard. 2 years ago, when I first warned people to start stocking up on food, it was in early 2020, like February 2020. And that would have been a good time. Think of how much money you would have saved with everything you would have stocked up on 2 years ago. Every year, it's going to become more and more challenging. And we see this with the economy and everything that's happening. Speaking of the economy, I just did a video last week on Wednesday, the day after last week's episode 41 of Tuesday's show, on the economy, on cryptocurrencies and all that. So if you missed that, which a lot of you did, go back and check that out. I'll try to remember to put that link up here. Where are we at on here? 13 minutes in. I'll have to remember to do that. So let's talk about JB, the supposed alleged leader of the United States. Did you see that clip of Biden telling the little kid, go on, take what you want. Steal a pumpkin. I won't tell anyone. Of course he said that. All coming from a guy who stole the house that he's supposed to currently reside in and doesn't, because he's too busy spending all his time in Delaware, hiding in Delaware with their fake set. But he just turned 80 years old, JB, the other day. And he happens to be 2022 is his 8th year, which is his money year. And he's definitely cashing in on that, right? 2023 is going to be a rough year for him when it comes to his team of demons that are working so hard to hide the truth, because I'm sorry, he's in his 1 year. My bad. Next year, he's in his 2 year. And that's going to bring out a lot of truth, because your 2 years all about truth. So we're going to see huge truth being revealed for the whole entire Biden family, especially, baby Biden. So it'll be really, really interesting, because, this is the time when he goes into his 2, if you don't admit to your wrong, to your lies, it's going to come out and bite you in the booty. And that's what's going to happen with JB come 2022. And it's going to happen pretty quickly, early in the year, I believe. This also, I believe, is going to not only just affect his presidency next year in that 2 vibration, but it could bring about a potential impeachment. Very strong feeling of that today. Did you know that JB gave $91 billion to the UKR? You know that that's twice the average annual U.S. expenditure that we had during our own war in Afghanistan? Twice annual. Not only that, that is 33% more than the annual military budget for Russia. $91 billion as our citizens suffer homeless on the streets throughout the United States. It's crazy to me. But I know you're already aware that Trump, DT, just announced that he's going to run again in the next election for the White House, as I told you 2 years ago that he would do. Will he win? Well, I did predict back in 2016, if you remember, that he would serve 2 terms. And, of course, it's easy to assume that it would be back-to-back terms. It usually always is. And it wasn't. So it makes sense to me, and I stick to what it shows until Spirit shows me differently. I'm going to say that that's likely the 2nd term. It would make most sense, but we'll see. It's a little too early to tell. But here's the thing with Trump. He enters his this is his money year. So that's why he has all these court things, all this money stuff happening. Next year, Trump is going into his 9 vibration. The 9 is likely going to bring about health issues. July, I believe, may be one of the hardest months for him in 2023, along next to September. There's plenty of time for us to look deeper into this because, especially for my January New Year's Day predictions. If you're new here and you don't know, every year I started out on the radio, I do my annual New Year's Day world predictions. You don't want to miss it. And so I'll go more in depth and look more deeper into that for January. But that 9 year, again, is all about endings, death of cycles, letting go of and getting rid of. Potentially, people can sometimes pass away in their 9 year. I did originally say that I thought if he ran 2 consecutive terms that he would end up passing in 2023. So we'll see if that still holds tight, because again, it's easy to put them together as 2 terms, not realizing that the 2nd term could be any time, not back to back. So we'll have to see how that all flows. Did you see that? Did you see or hear about the Trump lose prediction token associated with FTX? I saw that article. I thought I'd share it with you for a moment because it was kind of interesting, to say the least. And of course, now my computer's going to go slow and not work as fast as I would like it to work. Bankrupt FTX included Trump lose prediction token on a balance sheet. This is from Breitbart News, I guess. The balance sheet of FTX, the bankruptcy cryptocurrency exchange founded by the demo Sam Bankman-Fried, we all know about that. $7.4 million of crypto token that was called Trump lose. 7.4 million. Just more and more shady stuff's coming out, isn't it? It's a shady world we live in. Let's move on. Did you see that the United States dropped a missile launch system in the Antarctica recently called the Rapid Dragon system? That's right. The Rapid Dragon system is a missile defense system that was dropped into a missile launch system, that was dropped into the Antarctica. It seems that JB is trying to put a scare into Putin, but guess what? Putin is on a mission, and Putin will die for his mission. Soon, he will be backed by China, Putin, and it really seems that JB is really poking that bear and edging on a war, even though we're already in a proxy war, right? But let's talk about, speaking of proxies, let's talk about Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi is finally getting pushed out. And not long after getting called out for that bogus report of her husband being attacked with somebody with a hammer. That whole story is another big old crock, right? Remember Spirit saying right before that happened, flags that fly ever so falsely? Yeah. Well, truth is leaking out in that matter right now. And even as they try so hard to suppress that truth, it's just going to keep leaking out like a really bad trash bag filled with toxic waste leaking out. Sadly, Spirit says we have not seen the last of her. I see some type of investigation coming to the Pelosi household. Nancy is currently in her 8th personal year. That's the one that's in the money year. And let me tell you, that 8 vibration is based on finances and money. And Nancy sure did profit in 2022, didn't she? But 2023, the Pelosi's are not going to be so lucky as Nancy enters her 9th year. And that is about endings, death of cycles, and getting rid of and letting go of. I see health issues that surround her, but also especially her husband. And I believe that Nancy's big ending of cycles in her 9th year, 2023, will be the loss of her husband, him passing away. Sometimes people pass away in their 9th year, but I think in her case, it's going to be him passing away. Something happening to him, probably a heart attack or something. And so he is in his 8th year, her husband, next year, which is all about money and such. And I think that's going to be a big loss of money for him in 2023. Paul will face money issues of sorts in 2023, which will break down his health even more so. If he does not pass in the year 2023, he will definitely pass away in the year 2024. Speaking of passing away, it's so sad that yet there has been another shooting in the United States and another shooting in a gay nightclub. First, we had the one in Florida, and now a few years later, we now have one in Colorado. Sadly, Spirit showed me there's more to come. Not just shootings not just there, but shootings in general, but shootings at also popular gay night spots and gatherings. Seems like a thrashing out towards that is happening, just starting. And so be safe out there, folks. Be aware. I won't go to a club just for many reasons. There's a lot of dark entities that hang out in clubs, swooping down on their prey. But one will be in broad daylight, coming, future shootings. One in daylight, and I don't know if that has to do with the gay community, LGBTQ community. But I do worry about, and what came to me strongly today is the gay pride events and the parades. And I feel that some sicko, as lots of sickos out there, but one particular sicko is going to attempt to make a name for himself, along with all the other sickos that committed horrific acts of violence. I worry not only just about the larger gay parades like the one in New York City, Philadelphia, and Los Angeles, but I feel that there will be a sad reality this is a sad reality that's coming for 2023 as violence skyrockets and hatred towards different groups of people such as the LGBT community and other groups like anti-abortion groups and religious groups. 2023 will be, and I'm starting to get a lot of information about 2023, so I started my 2023 predictions. So it's another reason to tune in here every week, because now you're going to start seeing stuff that I'm talking about for 2023, even before my world predictions event on New Year's Day. So 2023 will see a huge uptick in hatred towards religious groups and churches. I believe we will likely see some of this occur before 2022 even comes to an end. I saw several churches fires in my visions, one in which several churchgoers are unable to escape. They will not, this is not just solely happening in the United States, but instead this is going to be a global attack, or feel like a global attack on churches and religion. Years ago, if you remember, I predicted a historic fire that would hit, and it did at Notre Dame. Well, today Spirit shows me that there will be at least one, likely actually several, large fires that are going to destroy historical sites and historical church as well. Part of this feels to me like it is arson out of complete anger. Not all of them, one could be a lightning striker or something, faulty electric, but I saw arson. I literally had the vision of this person and persons, because there were 3, doing this. And I have that in my notes. I see 3 people being arrested for arson, and 1, perhaps all 3, will be charged with murder. So be safe. No matter where you're at today, folks, we just got to be alert, awake, aware, and safe. I keep getting visions and reminders of the church shooting that occurred years back. How could we forget? I hope that I'm wrong about this, but usually when I get visions of past events, when they suddenly start to haunt my mind, it's usually a clear sign that a similar event is going to occur in the near future. And so I hope not, but I got a little bit more information. Another church shooting that felt to me to be so similar to the past one that I believe it will likely occur close to the location of the past shooting that happened years back, which is somewhere in the southern states. Let's hold in the light that does not happen. Many predictions I'd rather never happen. Just like I'd rather trafficking that's happening on our planet wasn't happening either, especially of the little kids. And that's my next topic. Did you see or hear about the new Instagram advertisement for Balenciaga? Balenciaga. I said that right. Didn't think I was going to say that right, but I said it right. It was a big little short controversy that occurred when the ads clearly were promoting kids in a sick manner, if you know what I mean, without saying it, because if I say it, they'll totally flag me. So ads that literally show the whole theme of bondage and other disturbing visuals that have since been removed, I believe. Last I heard, they've been removed, but still, there's a sick and evil agenda in store for humanity when it comes to crossing forbidden lines. And they're forbidden lines. We will see more and more of this push towards sex, sexuality, and so much confusion around it. Again, trafficking is going to be on an uptick in 2023, which is sad. So, folks, watch your kids, be safe. I mean, shoot. Almost, if I had a kid, I think I'd want to chip them, but I really wouldn't, because you can do that with their phone. But it's how crazy it is, and how you have to, and you don't want to worry about it and be in fear about it, because then you'll manifest it and make it happen. Just want to be aware, alert, and safe, without going into fear. But it's going to be on an uptick in 2023, and it's going to begin to receive the publicity that's needed to happen in order for something to be done about it. So that's the only good aspect that comes out of it. And finally, the publicity become a big thing, and here's why. I see many large underground rings that traffic the innocent and the little ones and push, their drugs, sex, and their evil ceremonies that they do, and so much more, being brought down, finally, many of them, large ones, that are going to be brought down in 2023, mostly late 2023 into 2024. However, I also see several shocking arrests and raids on other rings, politicians, and celebrities. So there's all these breaks of these rings, crime rings, whether it be a trafficking ring or a drug ring or whatever, especially in the Spirit just said, especially in the political arena. We're going to see a lot of that occur. About time, right? It's time for corruption to come out. It's going to be interesting doing my 2023 predictions this year. Part of me is I don't want to know, but I do want to know, because it's going to be so much interesting. But anyway, going back to them being brought down in 2023, 2024. This includes soon Hollywood will become guilty once again of another Bill Cosby type predator. Speaking of Bill Cosby, beans that popped up today, his reign will soon come to an end by 2024 as well, meaning major health issues strike. And he's going to have a big loss of money come next year, 2023. Not sure how, probably through lawsuits. And that's going to lead him to the grave and back to hell where they all belong. Little pretty. Anyway. Large arrests, though. Large arrests in several celebrities. One is going to be tied to organized crime and trafficking of drugs in little ones. Celebrities. So I was Spirit. I couldn't get who it was, but when Spirit showed me that, I was like, I want to know who it is. While 2023 is going to introduce the world to another Jeffrey Epstein. Wonder who that is. Put your guesses in down below. Who do you think the next Jeffrey Epstein bust is going to be? Any ideas? I'd be curious to see what people got to say about that. Just like I'm curious about what's going on in North Korea. A lot of craziness. You know, remember I said 2 years ago that North Korea would become a huge issue once again. I also told y'all that I believe that Kim Jong-un's sister is the one who's really running everything in North Korea. Well, if you haven't heard, Kim Jong-un's sister just put out a big warning to the United States. They got guts, don't they? They wouldn't be doing that if it was 3 years ago. Just saying. But put out a warning to the United States. Big warning. Recently, I warned that I saw South Korean troops lining up in what felt like a panic situation and like planes taking off. You remember that vision? I didn't. Spirit reminded me of it today. North Korea will continue to send what they call missile warnings out to South Korea and the United States. One missile, just one, that's all it takes, just one, will be pointed directly at United States. I couldn't tell if it was California or Alaska, but maybe in between. I was trying to figure out where it was pointed towards. It's not going to hit, don't worry, it's going to land in the ocean, but that's going to be that's not going to be good. But you know, United States ain't going to do nothing about it. You watch. They're just going to let it slide and keep the whole world focused on something else that they don't want you to be focused on. You know, that they want you to be focused on instead of what they don't want you to be focused on. You know what I mean. I also saw one missile backfiring and landing where it is not supposed to land. Kind of like what just happened in Turkey, come to think of it. Well, sort of. I think they did that was meant to go where it went. But I believe that this missile will land somewhere very close to South Korea. Closer on the borderline of. North Korea is currently in talks with China, as China wants to lock down power and control of North Korea. But so far, they have not succeeded, according to the spirits. North Korea is going to fall completely in or before 2025. They will cease to exist, says the spirits. Thank you, spirit. You see my friends? Did you meet all my friends? They all gather in behind. They're flying around. You see the little orbs. Speaking of beings, we're talking about crazy people. Let's talk about Russia and the UKR. Did y'all see that large-scale fires that are happening in Russia the past few days? Several fires in Moscow, and one of the Russian ports was allegedly attacked, but Russia is so quiet about all this happening. Spirit says to me, yeah, they're quiet because it's the quiet before the storm. That's clear as day. That's what Spirit said. Yeah, they're quiet because it's the quiet before the storm. So I got more on that. Putin is sitting back waiting while orchestrating a shocking plan of attack. But he better not wait too long because I see attacks from within Russia occurring. A secret hiding will eventually be caught and hung in public to send a message. I said it in the past, but now I have more clarity around train and subway incidents. I was not sure where they would all take place. If you remember me talking about this at least a month ago, maybe longer than that, about train incidents and subway incidents and not knowing exactly where they are. Or maybe I did say where they would be. But today I got very, very pulled to Russia and something happening that takes out their transportation along with, sadly, some of their innocent citizens. There's a massive attack on Russia being planned as we speak. This attack involves NATO forces and, unfortunately, United States and the EU as well. If they move forward with this attack, We will see bombs beginning to fall from the sky like a hailstorm. This would be guaranteed to bring about my past vision, if you remember, of seeing a mushroom cloud, a single mushroom cloud, but one's too many. The Christmas holiday season that's coming up feels very grim for me, like felt really grim, with potential attack occurring on Christmas Eve and or Christmas Day, all related to Europe, of course. New Year's Day will ring in with a new exchange of fire involving a completely different country. So, Russia is planning with another military, and I said this before, but it came up again today, and they are making a plan to attack new territory. This invasion will be more shocking than the original UKR invasion by Russia. This could unleash the Great War, as predicted by many prophets of the past, including, again, the Hopi and Lakota. Accident like the accident that happened in Poland. That, well, they said it was an accident. I don't think it was an accident, but they said it was an accident, and then they blamed Russia for it when it was actually NATO or UKR. It's kind of interesting. But I see another incident like that occurring. But Spirit shows me that a flag flying ever so falsely, as we say. So when that does occur, we know that it's a false thing flying high in the sky. Russia will acquire UKR eventually, completely, with the help of China. And this will strike, when they do, it'll strike like thunder. So, and I said that, if you remember, I did a reading on Putin and Russia, like whole card reading and video on that a while ago, and it said he was going to acquire land, and he did, and then lost it. But no, he's going to acquire land. I think he's going to acquire it all, to be quite honest with you. Not that it'll even be worth acquiring by the time they're done. And really, a lot of this fight's over the Black Sea. That's really what it's all about. I mean, when it comes to yeah. Anyway, there's a lot to it, as we know. And it's hard to know because they throw so much stuff out there that's incorrect, and then so much other stuff. But going back, I saw two very large drone attacks coming in my visions today. It looked like something out of a movie. I can't remember what the movie was, but it was a good movie. Samuel L. Jackson was in it, played the president. And remember, the drones came out of that thing and shot at him. I can't remember what that movie was. It was a really good movie, though. But that's what it appeared to be like. Like, literally, these drones appeared like they came out of the water. In my vision, it appeared like they just came out of the water. I was like, where'd those drones come from? You know, if only you could see how things go through this head of mine. And actually, you don't want to, trust me. Like, it can be disturbing at times, but it was kind of like watching a movie today. And they came out of nowhere, and they came up because we're on the coast. I don't know if they're launched from action now that I think about it. Maybe a submarine that pokes out and shoots them out of the submarine. I don't know, but they look like they came out of the water. The way I saw them. I didn't literally see them come out of the water, but the vision of me looking to the coast, that's what it looked like. That's what it appeared, coming from the water. And they were out of nowhere. These drones came out of nowhere along the coastline, while I had a separate vision of a group of them being launched from high above, like falling out of the sky, basically. It's like they're being thrown out of a high up airplane or something and then come into life as they come closer to the ground. I mean, like, that's what it looked like. It was raining. Somebody threw something out of a helicopter or something, and all of a sudden, as they dropped, they started to go, all different directions. It was quite interesting vision anyway. And these particular ones, this other group that's being unleashed from high above, coming straight down for a populated area. NATO is planning attacks with the help straight out of United Nations. I mean, the United Nations, those who are there to enslave. That's not united. They say United Nations. No, they're United Enslavement is what they are. But go back to that again. Huge drone attacks, the visions that I had. All this came to me at the same time, including the part of NATO planning attacks. So I'm thinking that these two drone attacks that I was visioning and seeing visions of today, were attacks on Russia ground. That's what it felt like to me. And remember, Putin's waiting. I think he's waiting until January. Remember, we go through a big energy shift in January. And it's a new year, and we're in the 7 vibration next year. It's going to be intense. Did you see that new Russian general? They call him Germans allegedly in Syria. Bad news. That guy's like, bad news. He's like, yeah, bad news. Just wanted to put that out there. Let's talk a little bit about weather, because there's a lot of that going on right now. On November 15th, I said Indonesia has been coming to my mind. I actually copied this right out of there. Indonesia has been coming to my mind all week. Not just Indonesia, but surrounding areas. This has to be related to massive shifts in the plates that I discussed time and time again. Spirit pulls me to the map in between both Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, which puts us in the Baltic Sea. The Philippines also jumped out at me. And when I draw a line to them, we get basically a triangle, almost a perfect triangle. That's what I said November 15th. And that part of that happened. I only know because y'all told me in the comments. And that's how I find out everything, because you tell me in the comments. So please do not send me emails or anything. Just leave it in the comments down below, because that's the best way to leave stuff. If you're going to leave links below, have a description of what people are clicking on, or it's not going to get approved, because people aren't just going to click on random links unless they know exactly what it is. But going back to the quake activity. The quake activity will slow down in a few weeks for a quiet before the storm. There's that quiet before the storm again. You know, and didn't I say that earlier? The quiet before the storm with the war and everything in Europe. And so I have no doubt that that's, you know, we're coming out of this cycle, new moon tomorrow. Not only do we have the new moon, we don't have anything, you know, intense. Really, we have some astrological stuff always, but nothing really till late December and then January. And that's where I think that's when the storms are hitting again. We're still a little bit in a storm, but it's going to get quiet soon, according to Spirit. And that has to do with weather and earth plates as well. A quiet before the storm, and that storm's going to hit late December or January. China is going to be hit by one of the largest recorded earthquakes that ever occurred on that part of the globe of where it hits. I saw visions of earthquakes hitting what appears to be a small line of earthquakes near the coast of Alaska. One Pacific quake, you know, in the Pacific Ocean, unleashes a small tsunami, but that tsunami hits an area that doesn't affect anybody. But that's just a warning call, because next one coming after that might not likely happen until next year. Next year's good. You know, it could happen around the holidays, but definitely January is an intense time. I see quakes hitting what I said that already. Small tsunami. Spirit warned me to keep a watch on the volcanic eruptions coming to Upper Alaska, between Alaska and Japan. And I didn't have time to look at the map. I wanted to look at a map because I don't know where Spirit's talking about, but a map would help. And I guess there's volcanoes up there, if Spirit says between the two. I know there's some at the edge of Alaska, but in between, I don't know what exactly lies there. But this Spirit said keep an eye on the volcanic eruptions. It was plural, coming to Upper Alaska. So, and I checked in with that. Like, I'm like, is that plural? Are you saying, you know, eruptions or eruption? And it came in plural. So, you know, so eruptions coming to Upper Alaska between Alaska and Japan. This is going to unleash a series of huge global events. This is likely going to be in January. But when Spirit said huge global events, I wasn't thinking just weather events and earthquake events. I was thinking like global events as well, which means likely there's going to be some kind of sun flare activity that happens around the same time. And again, I'm still shooting for likely January. We're getting close, and that's why, of course, I'm going to be picking up stuff for 2023 and early 2023. So I see volcanic activity erupting around Hawaii. And Hawaiians are in for large amounts of activity come 2023. So be safe, my friends in Waikiki, Hawaii. Huge quakes. are going to be hitting South America. I said this like a month ago, and it came up again today. I don't remember exactly where I said in South America. It was somewhere between Brazil. And again, I didn't have time to look at the map today. I wish I did. I did have that time. I just moved on with so much information that I totally forgot. But Brazil, the borderline, I can't think of what else is up there besides Peru. But that whole continent, the whole South America is going to light up, Spirit showed, with activity. And that's what I saw. It was like almost like an operator board lighting up and everybody calling at once, you know. I mean, like the whole South America lighting up like crazy with activity. Some activity is going to end up causing travel restrictions as well. So again, that would have to be a combination of volcanic activity, not just earthquakes, I would imagine, but I could be wrong. In the next few years, we're going to see a quake that takes more than 100,000 lives. This includes a tsunami that is separate and responsible for thousands of lives as well. Spirit said we're going to see that in the next few years. I didn't get a timeline exactly, but I will. You know I will. That's why it's good to subscribe, be a part of this tribe, and hit that like button. Buffalo, New York, as you know, endured a huge November event. As Americans prepare for a long holiday weekend, I warned of early storms dropping ridiculous amounts of snow, and that's exactly what has just happened. This winter is going to be the wettest, most miserable winter weather that we've seen in some time. Holiday travel nightmares for the South and upper Midwest of the United States. Also, all throughout Europe, major travel issues that are going to be in store during holidays. It's going to actually appear as if, again, weather modification, that they're like purposely keeping us locked indoors, which I don't mind. It's winter. It's too damn cold anyway. Although it's nice to hike in the winter. It's better to hike in the winter here in Arizona anyway. But other than that, nope, I'd rather stay inside with the fire. The holiday travel nightmares, again, for the South and the upper Midwest. I warned last week, if you remember, that a big storm was going to come across the northern United States and Canada from the west, and we still haven't seen that occur yet. So it's not, what I described, what happened in New York is not what I described. So that can't be the same thing. This is a different storm coming across. So I haven't really looked at where that path from New York came from, but I think it came off the lakes or something. So I didn't feel like that was it. I feel like there's something bigger, something that's coming and it's hitting upper Midwest and so forth, coming in from the West Coast, from the Pacific Ocean. So that's still a prediction that has yet come into fruition. I also had visions, if you remember, of cars stranded on highways, and that is exactly what New Yorkers in Buffalo experienced. Spirit warned us today that this is nothing compared to what is to come. That's right. In the way of weather, there's much more to come, but also not in the way of weather, but in the way of stranded vehicles. Spirit warned me that this is nothing compared to what's to come. Be sure to pack a bug out bag in your car, folks. A car bag. Spirit put that warning out, and I got to remind myself to do that too, because it was also a reminder for me, but all y'all to have a bag in your vehicle. And this is what Spirit warned. Have a bag in the vehicle because there's going to be sudden storms and high winds that cause travel nightmares globally. And some of these will pop up out of nowhere and suddenly you're going to be stranded. Or suddenly it'll be snow flurries and then all of a sudden you're in a blizzard. And it's going to leave thousands of people stranded on roads. And it will also be responsible for more winter deaths than ever previously reported. So don't be one of those numbers, folks. Don't be one of them statistics. I want you to be safe and your family to be safe. If you got kids, pack up a bag for them, throw it in the car. A couple bottles of water, some snacks, warm blanket. They have them sleeping bags now that are like this big, that in a little pouch, and take them out, and it's, they're thermal, stuff like that in your car. Very important to have because you don't know. Just don't know. And that's what Spirit said. That big warning today to everybody. So I also had a vision today of an icy bridge malfunctioning. First time I've ever had a vision like this one. The bridge appeared to be, I think, going up, but it could have been coming down, actually. I wasn't sure, but the bridge was going up or down. And it got stuck. And it seemed like it was wet and becoming icy. And then I saw several vehicles, and even a big truck, sliding off into the icy waters below. So I don't know. It's like the bridge gets stuck. Maybe the signs changes. I don't know how that works. Maybe they need to make sure they check that, because if the bridge is stuck and not fully down, you would think that the, cross thing keeping the road closed would still be there. Maybe not. Maybe that's on a timer compared, thinking the bridge is going down. I don't know, but be aware, folks, especially going over bridges. And then it looked slippery, where I saw some of them slamming on their brakes and sliding. But again, it could be just because you're going fast and don't realize the bridge is out until it's too late. So I wasn't sure where this is, but icy waters below, though, I could tell you that. Maybe I'll get more information for future shows. Wyoming came to my mind, though, today as well, very strongly. So maybe this is Wyoming, but maybe not. Wyoming came to my mind, perhaps where the bridge ends up stuck, or it could be something else. And what I can tell you is Spirit gave me this strong feeling that residents of Wyoming and surrounding areas must prepare for what's to come. So I don't know. We got lots of friends in Wyoming, surrounding areas, but that's the only thing I could say. It could be related to the bridge, but I also had this feeling that residents need to prepare. It's going to be a long winter. This winter also is going to see more power outages than ever previously reported in history. Some grids are going to go down and some of them are not going to want to reboot afterwards. So therefore, it's going to leave some customers in the dark for days. I see 2 extremely large winter storms that literally bury people in their homes. One storm hits an area that is not at all prepared for such a thing. And that's going to make it even worse, because the visions I had looked like blizzard conditions. One storm was accompanied with a mix of rain and freezing rain and rain, which in turn makes the snow heavier and more difficult to clear. This brings the largest wave of power outages that also last for many days, maybe even weeks. So some of this is around the UK or England, like that area of the globe, in that part of Europe. And then part of this is here in the United States. And I'll get more information as time progresses, but that's pretty good information. Western Europe is about to go into the darkness for an undetermined amount of time, according to the spirits today. And according to first reports, I believe this aligns to my previous predictions of hack attacks. Hack attacks. And there was just a hack attack in Canada on maple syrup company or something. I have that somewhere. Hold on, let me tell you. Hack happened at... Oh, I had it here. Yeah, Canada's Maple Leaf Foods was hacked. Speaking of hacks, remember I told you about hacks. Thank you, Susie Q. Susie Q. Susie, did I miss anybody? But thank you, Susie Q, for that. I couldn't do this without your love and support. Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you, Sandra. You're always so good to me. I feel residents of Texas, or let me step back for a minute. Going back to my previous predictions about hack attacks. Another grid will be from a large explosion that I saw. I saw a large explosion in my vision today. Oddly, I didn't see missiles being fired, though, but rather I saw a huge explosion that looked like it came from the inside. Perhaps a terror-like event. This is in Western Europe, and whatever this grid is, it's taking it out. I think it feels like it's taking it out. Like you'll have to build a new one when that one's done. And it felt like inside, I didn't see missiles falling. So I'm not sure. We'll have to see what that pans out to be. I feel residents of Texas and our friends there in Texas, where everything's bigger in Texas, that they may be likely to suffer the most when it comes to this winter weather and to their power grids and outages in the United States. Outages, I feel that will last days, but also perhaps weeks. depending on where you are. And I think that many of this grid outage will actually align in Texas. I remember I said earlier this year, it just dawned on me, Texas is a targeted state. Florida is a targeted state, but Texas is definitely a targeted state. So Texans, prepare, my friends. Make sure you got stuff to keep you warm. Because January, we are going to see the most activity with storms and earthquakes. Late January and early February take on the most events with weather. Power outages and rolling outages. Places like Chicago are going to go in the dark. Philadelphia. And that's all I got. I actually must have forgot to. I must have got up and didn't finish that. But we got Chicago and Philadelphia. Huge storms going to hit the East Coast. Visions of downed trees, outages, and a whole weekend lockdown because of the storm. Well, at least it happens on a weekend. Darn, am I almost done? Because I got to use the restroom. I need to take a nap. Let's talk about the economy. Because the greatest banking issue ever is about to hit the side of the country in the West. Also is about to be hit. The whole planet's about to be hit. The economic doo-doo is about to hit the fan, my friends. It's exactly, and we have Bernie who made off with everybody's money, and now we got Bankman who's banking billions of other people's money, right? And there's more fraud to come. Crypto is heading in the wrong direction when it comes to people and their privacy. It's heading into the mark of the beast, as I warned you for years. And if you missed my Mark of the Beast video, make sure you check out my Mark of the Beast video. That's a good one. I spent a lot of time on that video. A week, I think, at least. But crypto is heading in the wrong direction. Tether crypto will soon be under attack. Now, I did just do an economic video last week, and I'm only have a few additives to this today. But, you want full economic predictions, what to invest in, or all that stuff. It was last week in Wednesday's video, so check that out. But just some additives like Tether crypto, which is under attack or will soon be under attack. Beware anyone that holds Tether. Out soon is what Spirit warned before the big bankers take that one down next. FTX, of course, was a flag that flies ever so falsely, and it was simply utilized, according to Spirit, to funnel money. And we know that $40 million was given to one particular party here in the United States. Do you think they're going to give that $40 million back? Hell no. They ain't going to give that money back. They steal from people. That's all they do is take from us and take from us and take from us till we can't take anymore. So now there's going to be a demand for regulations when it comes to crypto. This is their whole plan, my friends. This is what they're going to do. Now let's do this big thing, set up this fake crypto crap and steal everybody's money, make rich off of it, and then utilize that as a way that we need to put in legislation. And we can only let big banks do crypto. That's what they're going to do. You watch. Only big banks, only the central bank's going to be allowed to do it. That's what's coming, my friends. I told you years ago that they are going to take out all cryptocurrencies. The only one that may survive and probably will survive is Bitcoin. And there's a reason for that. So now there's going to be regulations. This is all part of their plan to instill their new world currency and track every single move that we make and every purchase that we take. Every move we make, every purchase we take, they'll be watching us. Yeah, anyway. A collapse of the exchanges is coming. That's where your danger lies, my friends. So exchanges like, say, crypto.com. Bitcoin is a commodity. So, and there's no central issuer. But the 99% of other cryptocurrencies are actually securities. So if you missed my Bitcoin predictions, again, go back to the last week's show. I warned that the housing bubble was going to burst. I warned that about 6 months ago. And now we're starting to see a huge decline in home buyers with a large decline coming for 2023. 2023 is not going to be a year for real estate agents. Not at all. So there's a few extra predictions that I have other than some of the stories. And then I'm running right to the potty because I'm doing a pee-pee dance right now. There is a terror attack on Americans occurring with fentanyl, we know. Sadly, Spirit alerted me today that there's a new drug worse than fentanyl that's going to hit the streets. I had a vision when they told me that. I remember saying something about this maybe 3 years ago in predictions. If anybody could find that prediction, where I even had visions of the bags with skulls and crossbones on them, if you remember. That was years and years ago, maybe 2016, because somebody sent me some information about my 2016 world predictions and how they're all coming true now. Really creepy, my friends. But anyway, yeah, Spirit showed me that there's something worse than fentanyl. And I do recall saying this back in one of my annual world predictions show. So therefore, I expect that this drug might already be currently being manufactured by China and the cartel. So some type of attack or attacks are coming for Paris. I had visions today of the Eiffel Tower swaying back and forth, back and forth. I see some type of serious issues arising between India and Pakistan. Some evil powers in Pakistan are demising a plan currently against India. I'm not clear yet what this plan entails, but it feels a bit spooky to me, especially due to my previous visions and predictions seeing India's military lining up and their planes taken to the skies. Remember that vision? So that came up today. Speaking of troops lining borders, I see the same for Germany, as it appears that they are mixed in with NATO troops as well, lining up on the borders of Germany. Spirit says surprises come out of Turkey. Surprises come out of Turkey. And when I heard that today, it did not feel really good to me at all. It feels like some type of sneak of attack that involves Turkish troops. Don't know. But again, this person, Cranium, I think was their name, left this comment on my 2016 World Prediction video. This video popped up on my feed, and I felt compelled to watch it again after almost 6 years. It really blew me away on how many things came true. Only they happened about 2 years and later, and they're happening even now. You even said at one point in your video that predictions could take more than a year. I would say a lot of those predictions started happening in 2019 and later. So that's what, 3 years later. Timestamps might be off a little. So she left some timestamps. So you can go to my 2016 video. It should be at the top of the most recent comments where she left in timestamps. Russian predictions are spot on, she says. I'll mention a few. How the U.S. needs to stay out of Ukraine and how Russia and China will work together. And other countries jump on the side of Russia. So I also said Russia will make a large city powerless, either Turkey or Ukraine. Well, we know what that was. History will repeat itself with a disease that starts in China. I didn't know I said that, actually. I know I predicted an outbreak, but I didn't never remember saying China. But yeah, riots, issues with police, senseless police shootings and riots, even a shooting near the Liberty Bell left a man dead. As usual, you never cease to amaze me. Thank you, Cranium, for leaving that comment and those timestamps to check them out. It was kind of cool to go back and look. And then you look at that and you're like, wow, man, I look totally different, but really the same, but totally different. I have mail, but I left my mail in the other room and I got to go to the potty, tinkle. But with that, I so appreciate each and every one of you, and those in the United States. Again, if you're celebrating your holiday this weekend, make sure that you take time to celebrate that holiday each and every day. And we can always start by being kind to others as we wish others be kind to us, because we all know mean people suck, right? Don't forget to check out merchandise down below. My video that premieres tomorrow, along with my next premiere video that will premiere probably, hopefully, on Monday. That's going to be a really interesting one you're going to want to see. End of times. What date could it be? Until the next time, happy Thanksgiving to the Americans and a happy week to everybody in America and abroad. Spiritman JT signing off. Hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste. Much love. Much love.